Whew, I feel like it's been a long time, but welcome back this week, y'all. I hope everyone is enjoying their mid-January and hopefully the new year, 2026 is doing you well. This week topic is going to be interesting. Just to recap our conversation from last week with Dr. S. That was amazing convo. But yeah, stay tuned. We have two cards here. And yeah, stay tuned to the Love Frequency podcast. All right, y'all, welcome back to the Love Frequency podcast where we turn pain into power. I just firstly want to say that coming up, we have a lot of engagements and collaboration for February, March, April, May, June. So I would say that the podcast is definitely about to heat up. I have some really hot guests approaching literally each month. I know y'all like me, but I'm pretty sure y'all probably enjoy the collaborations a little bit more. And I do too. I love talking to all of my people. I love you guys. And just shout out to all my prior people that I was able to interview. I just want to say thank you guys. I love y'all for just giving me the opportunity to just interview y'all and taking the time out to, as someone that has a new podcast, just taking your time out to allow me to interview you all, even if it's for 30 minutes or whatever. So I just want to say shout out to all y'all and I love y'all. Now, this week topic is going to be kind of simple but straightforward. I want to get into, what's the word I want to use here? Sorry for the pause, but I feel like sometimes when you're trying to stand on business and handle business, you will have people in your corner that is rooting for you, meaning whether you make a decision that's in your best interest, some people may have been through that and they try to tell you or detour you because they've been through it and they just want the best for you. So I feel like this topic I want to touch on is discernment, to the point where sometimes we have to try things ourselves to see that it didn't work or maybe it will work. What worked for someone may not work for you. What may not have worked for them may work for you. So with that being said, you got to kind of just do it and not listen to what other people say. And what I mean by that is some people may say you want to start a t-shirt business. Maybe you converse with somebody you know who started one. Maybe their business failed, right? They may tell you, don't do it because this happened to me, this XYZ, it's a long process, it's stressful, whatever. They may give you their opinion, right? That's good. So I would recommend partly listen to people, listen to your mentors, listen to the pros and cons, research what others have said about that type of business that you're wanting to open up, but also don't let other people's advice deter you from making your own decision. You have to be the one, unfortunately or fortunately, to go through the fire by yourself and just do it. Don't listen to what people say, but I would say take that advice from your mentors and people that have been through it, but don't let it be 100% the reason why you don't do something, because just because it didn't work for them, this could be your calling, okay? This could be something that is going to work for you, because guess what? This is for you. What's for you in this lifetime is always going to be for you in this lifetime, regardless if it doesn't work for other people. It didn't work for them for a reason, but don't think that it won't work for you, because that could just be what the universe wants you to do, is just take a step out there so they can help you with whatever path that you're trying to go down on. My topic for this week, like always, take other people's advice and just stick with it. I would say soak it in and you take that advice for yourself. You make note of it. You say, you know what? I considered your advice. Thank you for that. I notated it. And then you have to be the one to go through that experience yourself. And then, hey, if you find out that maybe it didn't work for you, cool. At least you know for sure, without a doubt, that it didn't work because you actually did it and you tried it. Sometimes in life, we learn things via experiencing it. And then sometimes we learn by people telling us, like your parents told you, don't do this because I did it and this is what happened to me. So you would never know what something is if you don't try it, or if you don't at least give yourself that opportunity to experience it. So I would say experience anything in this life that you need to experience. Take other people's advice with a grain of salt, but don't just 100% stick with that, because one person's failure or success may not be your story. So I would say just keep going with it. Some advice I would give too, had I listened to, I would say 95% of the time, had I listened to some people, I probably wouldn't have made it as far along in my lifetime on my life journey as I would have. But I would say also that 5% or that lower percent, not listening to, let's say, my elders on something, I could have avoided heartache or something like that. But it wasn't traumatic. I think that I still own whatever I went through, and I'm glad that I did go through it because it made me the person that I am today. So either way, it still turned out positive 95% of the time. And then that small 5%, I would say, of course, you got the karma from it because your elders probably told you don't do it. They probably, been down that life path before. So they just trying to save you heartache and pain. But part of that in life is forced to grow anyway. You have to go through that yourself. What else here? Yep. Another thing too is being afraid to speak to people, being afraid to put yourself out there. Don't let fear get in the way of making decisions, because guess what? Someone once told me too, in life, the worst thing that somebody can do is say no. But what if they said yes? Then cool. If it's no, that's fine. But at least you try. Don't give up because you are afraid to speak to people. You're afraid that that person may say no, or you think that maybe you just can't do it. I was just talking to a coworker. When was this? Last week. And we were talking about opening up our own, or opening a business. I'm not going to tell you guys what kind of business, just for privacy reasons. And we started talking about Rockefeller and just basically the big wigs who just stepped outside the box and said, you know what, let's stop thinking small with stuff and think big. And I'm going to give you guys an example. Let's say you went to school, right? Let's say you went to school for finance and your teacher told you this is going to help you get a job, let's say in banking. And that teacher told you, hey, why don't you think outside the box and open up your own financial literacy firm where you are a consultant to, let's say, the government, celebrities, or whatever the case, right? Somebody may say, oh, I can't do that, or that's not for me, or it costs too much money, this and that. How do you think other people become so successful in life? Because they took a risk. They stepped outside their box. They probably collaborated and networked. And they say, you know what? I'm not going to take no for an answer. And if somebody do tell me no, I'm not going to give up on that. Stop giving up so easily on stuff and stop thinking so small. Stop thinking small, you guys. That was our topic last week. A lot of us was like, hey, shit, we can open up the same business. We can do this too. But why don't a lot of people do that? Why don't they think that big enough to say, let me open up my own law firm. Let me open up my own malpractice or whatever. Let me open up my own consulting business versus working for one, getting paid 60, 70, 80K a year, however much they get paid. And listen, you have the background, you have the skills. So why not collaborate with other people and open up your own business? So that's what the topic is about this week. Don't let people deter you from thinking bigger than what it is. Just because they didn't think big, that doesn't mean you have to not think big. Don't mean that you have to stay thinking so small. Think outside the box. Take that risk. Open that business, and it may have failed for someone else. That doesn't mean it's going to fail for you. But even if it does fail, listen, at least you can say you tried it, you've been there, you've done that, and you didn't give up. Hey, that first business probably failed, but guess what? I'm going to try my second, third, fourth business because maybe that industry wasn't for me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to give up. And sometimes it could take people 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 years to really pop off. And remember the conversations we had before. Just because somebody becomes a millionaire in their 20s doesn't mean that you're not going to be a millionaire because let's say maybe you're in your 60s or whatever. Sometimes they say the biggest peak of people's life and career is 40s and 50s. Some people become millionaires. So that's the minority where you see some people may not have went to college or have some type of degree. And like Dr. S and I discussed last week, you may not have to have a degree, but guess what? The people that you hire, they do have the skills, the resources, and the knowledge to be able to help and assist you and consult you. Yes. So the people that's in your circle, they're still smart people that's able to, as mentioned, assist you, consult you. They have 15, 20 years in the business. They have degrees. They have certs. It's all about being smart. Just because you don't want to go to school and get that knowledge, that does not mean that you shouldn't hire the right people to make sure you're making the right power moves that you need to. So I don't want to make this long-winded. We can talk about this more in the following weeks. And I do just want to get into the cards. So we have round and round. And what is this telling us? This could be something like a never-ending story, going in circles. Are you repeating cycles? Or if you are repeating a cycle, and let's say you get hit with that same scenario again, are you a changed person enough to recognize that this is what I was before? I'm now hit with this same karmic loop or this karmic situation. So what have I learned the last time where I'm not going round and round? And if you are going round and round, do you understand where you were before and where you are now? So it's always about breaking that cycle and that loop. Then the next one we have is the new life. Okay. New life. What is that saying? New life, new beginnings, new friendships, new opportunities, and new abundance. And I feel like this fits perfectly for 2026, because remember what we were talking about last year for 2025 was breaking out of those old habits, ending that number 9 year, going into the number 1 year where we could start over and reflecting on the past 9 years of where we were, where we're going, and what do we want to change going forward in the future. So yes, power moves fits perfectly with this topic this week. It fits perfectly with this topic this week because we are learning in this 2026 what we learned from the prior years and what we want to break the cycle of not repeating, not going round and round. And if we are repeating certain cycles, recognizing our accountability, where we were and where we're going. Sometimes in life, it could take people a few tries to get the message, to learn the karmic lesson. But I think the most important key is also recognizing that, wow, I've done this before. I've been there before. At least you're awakening to the idea and seeing where you played a part in that. That's the most important part, because there's people out there who will definitely go round and round and not recognize the accountability that they did, not recognizing the lesson. So they really keep going into the loop a lot. So that's my message for this week. And next week, we're going to have a great collaborative interview, and I'm really looking forward to that for next week. I'm very excited. And as mentioned, the podcast is definitely heating up this year. I have a lot of stuff planned for 2026. So it's about to be an interesting year. And once again, I'm long-winded because we still getting over this cold and this cough that everybody have been coming down with from the East Coast. Y'all done brought it all the way to Hawaii, but that's okay. So see you guys next week and stay tuned. And I love you all per usual, and stay tuned.